Every great travel journey begins with a question. Where to next? And how do we protect what makes it beautiful? Welcome to the Conscious Check-In, the podcast where sustainable hospitality, unforgettable travel, and bold conservation stories collide. I'm your host, Amy Wald, and this is your Conscious Check-In. Today on the Conscious Check-In, we're traveling to the heart of northern Italy to explore a destination where heritage, hospitality, and sustainability converge. Casa di Langa is part of the Beyond Green collection and owned by the Kraus Group, with deep Italian roots and a vision for purposeful hospitality. Joining me are two inspiring women shaping this story. Eva Codina, the general manager, who brings her passion for authentic guest experiences, and Jessica Hinman, director of sustainability, who is weaving regenerative practices into every corner of the property. In this episode, you'll hear how Casa di Langa is redefining luxury by honoring its heritage, uplifting its community, and setting a standard for sustainable hospitality that goes far beyond checklists. This is your Italian Conscious Check-In. So let's jump in really quickly to just a fun question I like to ask, because I'm a hotel lover and I love a hotel minibar. So let's say you are arriving at a destination. What would be waiting for you in the minibar that you absolutely just feels like an indulgence and you would love to have? Or maybe it's something that you need to have every day.
Eva, I'll let you answer first.
Okay, well, I would say, I will always talk about thinking about Casa di Langa in our bubble here, our world. But I would say that a curated selection of local drinks and snacks. So you won't find simple stuff on the minibar, but a curated selection of alcoholic drinks or snacks. Yeah, I would say so, because that means that there's somebody behind the scenes that has thought about that for you, for your well-being and for your welcoming. So
I couldn't agree more. Jessica, what about you?
So I promise you, Eva did not incentivize me, but I will be repeating Casa di Langa at their minibar, a bottle of our Enrico Serafino Alta Langa, which Eva knows is my favorite. And then, as she said, they're so curated in the rooms. They have these hazelnut chocolate biscuits that I can never get enough of. And I think I grab the jar first as soon as I get in the rooms at Casa di Langa.
I love that, because I feel like the minibar is it can be your greatest opportunity or your greatest missed opportunity to really
Absolutely.
tell that story. So Jessica, What was the drink that you mentioned? I am sure that is part of your portfolio at the Kraus Group?
It is. Enrico Serafino is a smaller winery in the Piedmont region where Casa di Langa is. And they are known for their Alta Langa, which is their regional version of what a champagne or prosecco would be to the general public. And it is just clean, sparkling, absolutely so delicious. And of course, Eva and her team at Casa di Langa have many variations in different vintages of Enrico Serafino there in their hotel.
Okay, wonderful. We will definitely link that in the show notes, because I know there's some wine lovers watching, and
I would hope so.
Yes, same. And I have to admit, we did, my husband and I, a wine tasting when we were there, but I don't remember if we had that. There was just so much to take in for all of our senses.
Sure.
But I'm going to check that out. I need to check that out. So, ladies, gosh, there's so much to talk about. This really helped shape my understanding, I believe, of what a true sustainable luxury offering looks like, especially in such a beautiful, of course, Italy, and so rich in culture. Let's start Beyond Green, and then we'll back up and we'll talk about, where the Kraus Group comes into this, and really, where Beyond Green comes into this. But Beyond Green is, you are part of Beyond Green, and I would love to know from both of you what that has meant for Casa de Langa to be a part of Beyond Green, and how did that come about?
Eva, please, you first.
Okay, thank you. Then you continue. So let's say that Beyond Green is a brand inside preferred hotels and resorts. So we decided to apply for preferred hotels and resorts when we were still a project under construction, because we thought it was the right group of independent hotels to be a part of. And so we were approved immediately. Even if I presented everything on the paper, and it was like sharing a dream at that time. But we had this kind of interaction with the vice president in Europe, and so it happened.
Jessica, your background is really unique. I'd love
Yeah.
to talk really quick. I'm sorry.
No, I said yes, it is, and I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, especially for a hotel to have this kind of support from sustainability, not only from the brand, but then from the ownership group, is so rare. So, gosh, take us into your world a little bit, what the Kraus Group is, how you decided to take on hospitality, and, how's it going so far?
Great. So for Kraus Group itself, we are an amalgamation of several different luxury brands, and it includes soccer, real estate, wine, hospitality. And so the hospitality part was really a natural evolution of how we saw that luxury brand. And Casa de Langa was the first project we did literally from the ground up. And I say that too because Casa de Langa, as you visited, Amy, really feels like it just grew from the ground. So the hospitality avenue for us just made sense with that. And this company for over 60 years, the belief is the businesses should be a force for good. We are part of that ethos that continues to guide businesses to just, it doesn't have to be one or the other, it can be both. So Casa de Langa being part of that luxury, that regenerative design, local heritage, and environmental stewardship, it really just is a wonderful balance and blend. And for us as a parent company, as we call ourselves, it just fits seamlessly into that portfolio. And of course, we align too, Casa de Langa and all of our businesses align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which again is that kind of worldwide, or is that worldwide standard that we keep ourselves accountable for.
So, Jessica, how did you come to the Kraus Group? And were you always working in brands, or was this kind of just an evolution that happened through your career?
An evolution, as Eva knows too, I've had a very diverse background and experiences. So for me, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, environmental, social, and governance, I work within that entire structure. As I like to say, I make sense of that gray area in a company. And so Kraus Group, I'm from Connecticut, from the East Coast. I had never been to the great state of Iowa, but I have been traveling at a young age and have been to Italy several times. And this company was just so unique. And then you have this, steward, I would say is the best way to put it, where we don't want to change any of the brands that we own. We want them to still be authentic, still be themselves. And we're here as almost that support system. So I saw this amazing opportunity. And then again, to be able to travel to Italy to spend time with Eva and her team, it was a once in a lifetime thing. So I continue to work in CSR and sustainability, and I'm a huge advocate of that line of importance within companies and enterprises. And so this was a great fit.
I'm enamored, honestly, with the Kraus Group. When you go to the website, it's very obvious what you stand for. And it's obvious that this isn't a side project. that sustainability, corporate social responsibility, ESG, all of it wrapped up into one is really built into the DNA. And that to me, it's very exciting to me because I just think it's proof that when you take luxury brands, there's always that, a lot of people like to say that sustainability and luxury can't go hand in hand. And that to me, I think is just such a misnomer because I think that's where it can thrive. And to me, this is just proof that this is where the future of brands and our world is headed when you see groups like the Kraus.
You really spoke on it too, and Ava and I discussed on it. The methodology that I teach on and that I advocate for businesses, and Amy, it might be a good idea for a future podcast, is on the shared value methodology, where you absolutely said it, that profitability, luxury success does not have to come at the cost of doing good. They're not mutually exclusive. And sustainability is a wonderful example of that, of regenerative technologies, of waste management, of recycling, how much all these things help a business become more profitable, save money, incentivize, and support the business's growth exponentially more than they would the old-fashioned way, if you will. So it's the shared value methodology. It's something I've been really advocating for since I got into corporate social responsibility and sustainability, and where I hope more and more businesses, Casa di Langa leading the way is an example that it can be both, and it's even better when it's both.
Couldn't agree more. And I'm so excited you are leading the charge and the Kraus Group is leading the charge. I have a feeling it's going to take over. You're going to take over the world. And I have to admit, I'm proud that it's a U.S. company that has brought in European brands.
Right.
I'm a believer that the European way of life is just the fundamentals of sustainability, but that's a whole nother conversation. So Ava, let's come to you. I would love, I was so lucky to have a conversation with you when I was at the hotel. And as we discussed already, the hotel was just kind of coming to life, but it was still beautiful. I can't imagine that it's more beautiful than it was. But how have you seen things really transform? What has changed since I've been there? Give the audience a little bit of an idea of, how the ideation of the hotel came together. I know I'm asking you to cover a lot, but you explained to me a lot about the materials that were used. Jessica, you mentioned how it really looks like it just came from the ground. And then that, just how have you seen it evolve since I have been there, and what was the beginning stages like?
We opened in the middle of the pandemic. At the kind of the end of the pandemic, but still it was May 21. And so the team that we had, it's a team that we put together while there was the lockdown, and it was very complicated to put people together and to train them.
So Ava, that you made me think about some things, thinking about having to open a hotel during COVID and get it up and running. I mean, what an almost impossible task, but we were there.
It's impossible. Yeah, we made a miracle.
You made a miracle, honestly. We were there in August and we wouldn't have known the difference. Granted, we were in La La Land because we were in the rolling hills of Italy, northern Italy. But for the listeners to understand, it takes a little bit of a while to get up to, you have to work for it a little bit, right? But that's part of the adventure. You go up these beautiful hills of Italy, and then all of a sudden the skies open up and there's Casa di Langa. But what? So I think my first question is, are most of the employees and the associates from the area?
Yes, we have like 80% of the associates working on property. They are from the area, and those that are not from the area, that continue to work with us from the very beginning, they have moved to the area to live now. So if they are not local, we provide housing for the associates. And so they can stay in our apartments during their period that they are working here. But we've seen that some of them, they decided to find a place for themselves. Maybe they found a partner or somebody, and so they are sharing the house, their lives together, and so they have the house here now. But apart from them, but yeah, the 80% they are local. So consider that we are 70 associates on property.
And see, to me, not that you can't have very enthusiastic and devoted employees and associates in a hotel that come from somewhere else, but to me, this is just proof of one of the many reasons that we had such an exceptional experience there, because everyone was so proud, and you could just tell they were so devoted to what they were doing. And it really goes back to those pillars of sustainability. When you can enhance your community members in your project, it's just such a win-win.
Right.
So for the Kraus Group, in your other brands, is that something that, I mean, I know a hotel is a place that's in one place, so it's not necessarily applicable, but how do they go about, maybe some of your other brands and keeping that heritage alive in some of those other brands that you own?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when the Kraus Group and Kraus family acquired these businesses, whether it's Italy or the US, they really, if he's really seen as, or Kyle Krause, our founder and CEO, is seen as that steward of it. Again, I use that word a lot intentionally because you see too, there's almost the misnomer in Italy and in Europe, and Ava will probably agree with me, where you have an American company buying a business and then like stripping it down, totally reframing it and making it very much more of an American operation. Kyle Kraus and the Kraus Group really come in and say, you know what you're doing better than anyone else. Our wineries, our hotel, our soccer teams, this is your heritage, this is your day-to-day. We don't want to change that. We are here to help amplify, to help support, and to give resources and tools to really help the businesses expand, but in a way that's authentic to them. So it's amazing, Amy, when you're at any of our businesses there and our brands, and I hope you get to visit much more when you're in Italy the next time, is you see that through and through, is that nothing has changed so far as the culture, the history, the best practices. We are there as that support system for them, and as that guide in areas that are very nuanced or can be, like sustainability.
And I think in a world, I don't know why, I come from Columbus, Ohio, but I always had the travel bug and I always wanted to be in another country. I don't know where that came from because my parents aren't like that, but that gives me hope. I'll be honest, because as I look at a world that there's a lot of sameness, and in hospitality as well, but in brands, it's so important that we preserve that history and that culture, because
Right.
for generations and generations to come. So that's really exciting and just a model, I think, for other groups that are acquiring brands to think about as they move forward.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Absolutely.
ladies, here's a question to ask really quick. Let's move away. Let's go into some animal energy. I'm a big animal lover, as you can see here. My orangutan. He's my spirit animal. So, if you had to pick one animal that captures how you move through the world, or just that you resonate with, what would it be and why?
Ooh, Ava, you get to go first for this.
I would say a horse. I feel I am very loyal. I am very independent. So, and I allow my team members, my colleagues, to do the things the best way they think I mean, they are more experienced than me in their areas of expertise. So I give them a lot of autonomy to do their job. But of course, I have one eye open all the time. Like I don't sleep like 100% with the two eyes closed, but I have one open. But I believe very much in, I mean, in delegating. Of course, I control, but I believe very much in that. And so they have to be independent and responsible for what they do. And so, but then talking about the horse, yes, I'm a very hard worker, but I also enjoy having fun and doing nothing with the family or friends or just whatever. So like the horse does. So the two
Those
things.
are great leadership qualities. It's not a surprise that you've been so successful in running hotels, because those are good takeaways for our audience that are hotel professionals, I think, to take away. And okay, so Jessica, what about you?
So for me, it would definitely be an octopus. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually one of my main tattoos here on my arm. And I've always loved them. And what I love is their adaptability. They adapt so quickly to changing environments, hostile, friendly. And I've always lived like that. I've always been able to go into a new situation and make the best of it and multitask to get things forward, but always with intention. And then I am curious by nature. As Eva knows, I will ask a million questions. And octopuses are very, or octopi, I should say, are very curious. I don't know if you've seen videos of them. They're always interacting with divers and they just want to know everything. And they're also extremely emotionally intelligent. They're one of the few creatures that's really never had to evolve very much. And so emotional intelligence really guides how I connect with others. I can have the best ideas or strategies in the world, but if I can't connect with the people within a company or a greater group, it'll never work. So I really try to work on that emotional intelligence, and I feel an octopus represents that. And they're just so beautiful. So a little biased.
You ladies nailed
Wow.
this. I love it. This is the first time I've asked this question, and I'm so grateful to you to come with such great answers. I love an octopus. Have you ever read The Soul of an Octopus?
I have, yes.
So I have to tell you, as I was gallivanting through Europe one time with a girlfriend, we ate lots of octopi, or polpa, I think is that how they pronounce it in Italy? And loved it. Read The Soul of an Octopus. Never could eat one again. No judgment. I realize it's cultural and lots of people love them, but after finding out what sentiment beings they were and how smart they were, and I was like, all right, I can't eat octopus anymore.
Yeah.
But and I love horses. Oh my gosh, horses are just such majestic,
Yes.
beautiful, strong creatures.
Yeah,
So
and very patient. I forgot patient. They have a lot of patience.
okay, Eva, I want to talk to you really about the soul of Casa de Langa, because you've had an incredible hospitality career. How long have you been in hospitality?
Oh, forever. Um, I started when I was 19 years old, and now I am 47. So a lot. Yeah. But I've been a GM for since 2007, so 20 years already. No, 20,
Okay.
18 years. I'm sorry, 18.
And that's a
So,
long time. So did you what is different about this hotel than others that you have worked at before?
well, I've started working in hospitality when I was very young. It was a hotel by the beach in Spain, and we had 315 rooms on property. So you can imagine these very big hotels in front of the beach with a lot of people in the late 90s. And so no internet, no cell phones. It was very intense, I have to say. So
Oh
I
my
started
gosh.
at that time as a front office agent. And then I went to the US. When I finished my master's in Switzerland, I went to the US for an internship 1 year and a half. And that gave me the overview of my first luxury hotel that I worked at. And it was a wonderful hotel in the countryside with 200 rooms, a lot of meeting rooms.
Well, and I would imagine that you've had a lot of say in the development of, every touch point, every guest touch point, which is really, to me, the really fun part of it. So Ava, tell us what are one of the moments that you've intentionally designed through Casa de Langa to really leave a lasting memory on the guests?
I've been working, well, as you know, I'm Spanish, so I'm not from the north of Italy, which I truly respect the people in the north of Italy, but we are kind of different as far as worms. And so I wanted the people, the associates, to provide a warm service, to be spontaneous, to smile, and so to not be rigid. Even if we are a five-star hotel, I didn't want penguins here to work like this. I want people to be human with a soul, a spirit, and so I've been working a lot with the people. And so for the things that I couldn't teach or I couldn't give enough example, because I'm a person that does gives a lot of example to lead the team or to manage. So the places that I couldn't do myself, so we've had the assistance of trainers, coaches, and all that. I remember when we opened the hotel on on 2021, we Kyle Kraus came here the second day that we opened, and we were all standing outside.
No pressure, no pressure at all.
Yeah, everybody were standing outside and sharing a glass of Alta Langa from Enrico Serafino, and he said, "Well, the house came out pretty good, beautiful, but the building is nothing without you, the people that were here, because you are truly like the ones that make the difference and that will make this place so different from everyone else in the world."
As you have taken on this role with the Kraus Group, and what would you tell other investment groups who are feeling pressure or just hearing talk of ESG and corporate social responsibility and thinking, is this really necessary? Will we really benefit from it? How do we even put it into our business model? What advice would you give them, or where would you tell them to start?
Great question. And you're finding it more and more, even here at Kraus Group, having to really redevelop what sustainability strategy was for this enterprise. That, again, that shared value methodology is really how I approach things with the company. But the biggest thing they have to do, the most important, is start internally. Look at the companies. What are your values? What's your purpose, your identity? Really, what do you stand for? And listening to your employees or associates, as we call them here at Kraus Group, they're going to be your best ambassadors. So starting internally and taking reflection like you do as a person as you grow and develop, you look internally first. And that can help guide of what their CSR ESG model can look like. And then also looking at it really pragmatically from a financial standpoint. Where do you stand to benefit? And that's not a bad thing. Being profitable is not a bad thing. Employees need to get paid. We all need to be successful. So looking at it from a cost savings and driving a revenue stream is also really important to help kind of guide their strategy. And considering as a third thing, so starting internally, look at the financial or regenerative benefits from it, and then consider the business type. So, where's your operational footprint? Are you in the Alta Langa region of Italy and Piedmont? Are you a tech firm in a city? Are you a logistics company in the Midwest? There's different opportunities and risks within that region that your CSR strategy will be very successful if you really absorb to that. So, staying small, staying authentic, and build it from there. Sustainability, ESG, CSR, as we all know, can be absolutely overwhelming. It really can, because it's just, again, such that gray area. So starting small and staying authentic to who you are as a business is the best place to start from. And again, even if you don't have a specialist like myself coming in, you can always build a very impactful program just by taking those steps.
I think that's such valuable advice. And as you said, regardless of the kind of company you are, I think it's really a future proofing
Yes.
strategy when you can make ESG or sustainability a natural extension of who you are as a business. Then you stay unique and your unique value
Mhm.
proposition stays preserved, and so people still continue to love you
Yeah,
years to come based on that. Now you're just doing the
right.
right thing and making sure that your business is going to stand the test of time. So what would you say a non-negotiable across the Kraus Group's portfolio is, and how does it show up in action?
So I hope I've hinted at it well during our discussion today, but integrity for us is non-negotiable. You can say whatever you want, as Eva and I know, and we see it unfortunately in too many businesses, but you do the right thing even when it's hard. And sometimes it can be almost impossible to do so. I mean, look at Casa de Langa opening in the middle of a pandemic. That integrity for us means we do the right thing. It's shared across all of our brands. We don't sacrifice quality, customer experience, what's doing right for the environment and our people. And you see it through our actions. You see it through the certifications and credentials, such as Beyond Green. You see in how engaged we are and how proud we are of our businesses. And we are transparent. I hope you've seen on our website our annual CSR report. It's all out there for the public to see. This is exactly what we're doing, and we have nothing to hide. So that integrity for us is integral as Kraus Group, but all of us, really, that's how we operate day to day.
That's great. And I'm sure you have lifelong employees because of integrity being so important, because that is naturally going to bleed
Yes,
into how you treat your employees. So when you're backing a hospitality project, I feel like I love it. You have such a unique role. Um, Complex, takes a very smart woman to do what you're doing, but I'm sure it keeps it
absolutely.
fun to have these incredible brands and hospitality, which I of course love. But so when you're backing a hospitality project, what role does storytelling or sense of place, play in your decision making on what the project looks like as it comes to life and what you
Mhm.
invest in and
Yeah,
so
so I
on?
mean, it's really part of our value proposition and not just aesthetic choices, which sometimes usually is kind of the business model when it comes to hospitality, from my experience. But we invest in businesses and properties as a whole that respect the local culture and environment, as I hinted at before, and as Eva so proudly said, not just ones that could exist anywhere. That's just not our business model. And a strong narrative for us as a company helps create that authentic guest experience. You can't fake that. As Ava said, you can't fake your bartenders remembering your drinks, or every time I go there, they all remember my name. It's just, I can't wait to go back. It's building that emotional connection. And it really is attracting conscious travelers. We are all in this world of technology, hyper aware of what businesses are doing 24/7. And so for us, that storytelling, we look at projects where design, sustainability, community impact, and heritage are really all part of that story. And so Casa de Langa is a perfect example. It embodies that methodology. They're not just located in the Alta Langa. Their name of their hotel is literally House of Langa, and that means that they are part of that community. And so the storytelling is the most essential part of that because it is authentic.
Most definitely. So, okay, I would like to ask both of you, because I feel like we all have an understanding of how special this place is. But for the people, the audience that are listening, they don't know. Um, I know I have so many things, but I want to hear from you both. So if you were someone that's never been to Casa de Langa, never been to the area, and they could see through your eyes, what would be one thing that you want to leave, one thing that you want them to know about what they would see or smell or touch or feel when they arrive there?
Ava, I'll have you go first for that.
Oh, there are so many things that I would
I
say.
know.
Um, Well, we are located in the countryside of the Piedmont region. It's a beautiful destination. It's not the first place that you would go to Italy on the first, I mean, the first trip to Italy, and it's okay. But maybe for the third, fourth time, it's a very good place to go to really enjoy the Italian culture, to understand. We are located in, I mean, nearby the property, there are so many small little villages with local people still living there and going to the cafe to playing cards or the domino or whatever. So it's still very authentic. But the way that the people behave here and work here, it's very typical from the Piedmont region. So small things, little by little, but well done. So it's not like we do a big thing, boom. We do the small one, well done, and then we move to the other one. And I think that this pays in the end. And but regardless of this cultural aspect, the hotel, it's been uh, a sort of the way that we see it's a gift to the community, because as if it, like thinking how it was before when we bought the construction site, it was an awful concrete thing, unfinished, sitting in the middle of the hill with a privileged view, but unfinished, terrible, and nobody would have invested to complete this building or to do something here. So our Kyle Kraus, the owner and CEO and founder, he had the vision of let's finish it, let's do it beautiful as a gift to the community and bring local people to work here. But in like you've been talking about, it's not even though it's an American company, an American business, we do not do the American, I mean, let's say the sort of American services or operations here. It's all very connected to the place where we are. So we have local products.
I think it teaches, of course, to slow down, especially from an American, but
Right,
to savor
Mm-hmm.
everything.
right.
Whatever you're doing when you're there, you learn to savor it and really
Yeah.
appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, we always thank you for that, Amy. We always recommend when we receive the reservations at the front desk, at the welcome desk. Sometimes we have a very long agenda with all the activities that they want to do during their stay, and we say that's too much. It's too much. You have to do maximum one, and they say no, no, no. Let's do everything. So it's a fun thing that when they check in, they are like, sometimes you see them very electric, like they speak very fast and they don't listen to you, and then the next day they start to calm down and they are like, oh, you know what, please cancel this and that, and you see how they start speak slowlier. It's true, it happens all the time. And then the last day, they are very relaxed. And I mean, this is the country for the slow food
Mm-hmm.
movement, but also the slow everything. So it's not that we don't do anything, but we take the time to do the things and to enjoy them. And
Yeah.
so we want to share that with our guests.
Yes. So
Observing a
special.
flower, a butterfly, or a bee that is going to. So we always like to share this, like take the time to do the things that to enjoy life. Mm.
Words to live by. So Jessica, what about you?
So I'll start with a sentence of what I would want a guest to really feel when they were there, and then I'll talk about kind of my first visit and how much that's synonymous. So I would say for a guest to take away is I felt at home, as Ava had said. I really felt like I was at home, but I was also part of something meaningful. And I say that because when I first visited Casa de Langa in the spring of 2024, I had one of those rare moments where everything just clicked. And I was reminded of why this approach of sustainable luxury just really matters. I was blown away by the beauty of the place. It, like I said, it feels like it grew from the land. And you notice that every plant, every tree, every element of the landscape is intentional. It's not just pretty, as people would assume so, but it's biodiverse and it's ecologically alive. There is always an energy around it, and you feel that. And again, the exceptional cuisine, sustainably woven into every detail, and a team that really welcomes you like family. I don't know if Eva mentioned it, but there are staff working there that guests have followed them from other hotels just to go to where they're working. I mean, that doesn't happen. And she has a retention rate that is one of the highest percentages I've ever seen in hospitality. That says so much.
Wow.
And it's also something remarkable that, way in the future, my future career doesn't matter. I will still go back to Casa de Langa as a guest. Like, it was stuck with me, whether she wants it or not, because that is one of my favorite places in the world. So
Of course, I want to.
it is such a moment there, and you walk away again peaceful, but you feel like you were part of something, and that's so much needed in today's age of just constant going and going and disconnection.
Couldn't agree more with that. Gosh, I just feel like regardless of who you are, you're going to take away something different. I think some could say, oh, well, that's obvious. Everybody's different. No, I don't think that's true with every place. I think most places have something they want you to take away, but you don't have the ability to really make a connection specific to who that person is. And for the listeners, just so you know, if you are truffle lovers, which I am, right? This is one of the most famous places in the world.
Well, yeah.
We're the only. Tell me, Eva.
Yes, Piemonte, and especially Alba, it's very famous for the white truffle. It grows between mid-October and the end of January. And it's a very unique and precious truffle that only grows in this area. And so we do the experience in our forest with the dogs, because you cannot find it by yourself, the truffle. It's hidden underneath the soil. And so you need the nose of a trained dog to find it. And it's a very fun experience. But apart from being fun, it's very educational. We do it with two guides that are super professional, and they are local. And they have a very big knowledge of the forest, the dogs, the everything. And so they share a lot of information with the guests. They make them participate. And it's fun but educational. So at least you bring something back home to share with your friends or family. It's very special.
And I'll tell you again, there are so many things I could talk about. I could just do a show, like a day show. I loved about the hotel, but this was one that really stood out to me. I, of course, had packed. We were gallivanting around, Europe, and so I did not bring the proper clothing. And I was very disappointed that I wasn't going to get to go. But I have such a connection to animals that then when we got back on the plane to go home, there was a movie called The Truffle Hunter on the airplane. And okay, I'm a very sentiment being, so I could cry just thinking about it, but it touched me so much because it really gave you an insight into how important the truffle is to the culture and how long it has been around. So, although I love them and I want to eat them all the time, it just represents something so much more to me now because of that. So that was my take, one of my many takeaways. Okay, well, ladies, you have things to do today. So let's wrap up with finish this sentence. I'm going to ask both of you. Jessica, let's start with you. Sustainability matters in hospitality because.
So, in its simplest terminology, it ensures that we protect the natural beauty and cultural heritage that make the destinations truly special anywhere in the world, really, while delivering that meaningful and that memorable experience. We've just been talking about it for an hour. It's things that stay with you. So sustainability in hospitality matters because it's the place and it's the memories you have of that place and that experience.
Perfect. And Eva?
Well,
Hospitality matters because.
well, we care about people. We take care of people, and so that's our goal. We take care of people, whether they are our associates, but also our guests. So all the people.
That was your conscious check-in. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and let us know who you'd love to hear from next. Until next time, travel deeper and stay inspired.